Hello everyone and welcome back to Java Forever course. Currently we are learning two-dimensional array, and in today's class we will learn how to iterate through the rows and how to iterate through the columns. In the previous classes we have learned how to create a two-dimensional array, how to populate the values in the two-dimensional array. We have also learned how to read value from the two-dimensional array too. In a nutshell, two-dimensional array is nothing but an array of arrays. In today's class, we will also apply our learning from one-dimensional array where we used a for loop and enhanced for loop to iterate the values of the array. Now, since it was one-dimensional array, so we used just one loop. Today we will learn how to use two loops, which means one outer loop and one inner loop, to iterate over the values of the array. And again, if you want to use index, you will use the regular for loop with an counter. But if you want to just read the values and not interested in the indexes, then we can use what we call it enhanced for loop. Now let's take a look at let's learn a little bit more with an example. As you can see in this diagram, I have a table in which there are 3 rows and there are 4 columns. By iterating through the rows means we go horizontally first and then we go to the next row and then we go to the last row. In the case of going by the column, we will first go by this column, then we go by this column. In fact, let me change the color here so that it's easy to understand. By going through the column, we will go like this first, then this, and finally like this. Now in both these cases, when you go by rows, you're talking about 4 values. You have this value, second value, third value, and fourth value. But when you want to go by rows, then you have 4 columns. But if you go by column, then you have 3 rows: first row, second row, and third row. Now let me clear this. The way it will work, if you remember from the one-dimensional array, in one-dimensional array we simply used one for loop and we said for, if assuming this is our array, just to show you, let's say this is x and we wrote this, say 10, 20, 30. To iterate these 3 values, we simply say int I equal to 0, I less than 0, 1 and 2, and let's say I plus plus. And then we say x of I. This first time when I is 0 is x of I 0, which is this value, x of 1 this value, x of 2 is this value. So just one array, because it is one dimensional and you can go from here to the end. But if the same thing is two-dimensional array, that means you have 3 set of rows, right? So take this example. You can see here that you have 3 set of values here. Say 1, 2, 3. And I can see that I think there is a mistake. There's an outer loop, pair of curly braces missing, and you will have 3 values here. So in first row you will have 12, 74, 85 and 96. Then you have 7, 21, 55, 67, 1, 14, 48 and 28. In order to go by rows, here you can, let me draw the quick table here. This way it is easy to visualize. And you have 3 rows and 4 columns. So this is 12, 74, 85, 96, 28. If I want to read, as you can see, this is one row, which is one array, second array, and third array. And within each you have 4 element arrays. We will use 2 for loops. You can see here on the top, you have first for loop that will go by row. This will give me the whole row, first loop. And then second loop will go inside this element. And that is what we are doing here. For I equal to 0, I less than equal to 2, 0, 1 and 2. And then j equal to 0, j less than 3, 0, 1, 2 and 3. When we use 2 loops and they are nested for loop, you can see that. In the nested for loop, now when we want to print value of array I and j, first time I is 0, j is 0, which is, it will return value 12. Now next time the I is still 0, that means we are still going through this 0, but j will be 1. Then j will be 2, j will be 3. Then I of value will change, and then I will become 1 and j will be 0. Then I1, j2, I1, j3 and so on. And that way you will be able to print the values using a tab delimiter, and it will print like this. Now there is another approach. If you want to print by column, then still it is relatively easy. All we have to do is to change the loops little bit. In this case, we are going to first go through the row columns and then rows. What I mean is, as you can see on the top, we are saying j equal to 0 and j is less than 3, which is 0, 1, 2 and 3. We are going like vertically, like this, vertically here. And then within this, you have got 4, within one column, we have 3 rows. First row, second row and third row. And that's what inner loop is doing here. That's what inner loop is doing up to 2. Now, when you print value of I and j, row is 0 here. Sorry, the column is 0 and row is 1. And it will print the value like this. Hope this is clear. It is a matter of practice, and spend some few extra minutes. Understand, all we are doing is iterating a table either by row or by column. In both the cases, you will need to use in what we call it nested loop, and it's a good practice of the nested loop too. That's all in today's class. Thank you very much for watching and learning. I'll see you guys again in the next class. Please practice, and happy practicing.
Thanks for watching. Do subscribe and press the bell icon for more videos.